All right, today we are doing a complete breakdown of what might be one of the most intense crypto economic stress tests ever conducted. For 34 straight days, the PLAZM protocol was put under incredible sustained pressure. So what we have now isn't just a theory, it's not speculation, it is the definitive, data-driven story of what happened. Let's get into it. But first, you know the drill, we have to get the mandatory disclaimer out of the way. This analysis is purely for educational purposes. It is absolutely not financial advice. Any financial instrument has risks, so please always do your own research. So here's how we're going to break this all down. We'll start with the big idea, the anti-fragile thesis. Then we'll dive into the three core pillars of proof: how supply was permanently destroyed, how stakers showed incredible conviction, and how the entire supply structure shifted. After that, we'll look at the biggest tests the protocol faced, and then we'll deliver the final verdict based on nothing but the hard data. So this was the whole premise, right? This central question. It's a really bold claim, because it goes against how we think most things work. The idea wasn't just to survive the stress, it was to actually use that stress as fuel to come out the other side even stronger and more robust. That was the theory. Well, after 34 days of intense pressure, we can officially move this out of the theory column and drop it right into the proven fact column. So let's look at exactly what this test entailed. The test ran for a full 34 days, from day 84 to day 118, and it was designed for maximum pressure. We're talking 2 gigantic scheduled token releases and a grand total of over 4 million tokens coming online from elevated releases. And the result? Honestly, it's kind of mind-blowing. Every single key health metric of the protocol didn't just survive, it actually got better. Let's look at that first pillar of proof. We're going to start with permanent supply destruction, the burn mechanism. And let's be super clear. This isn't about locking tokens up. This is about sending them to a dead address where they can never, ever be recovered. Gone forever. And the growth in this area was, well, it was massive. You have to appreciate the scale of this change. On day 84, at the start of the test, just 3% of the total supply had been burned. 34 days later, that number skyrocketed to 15%. This wasn't a slow, steady burn. This was a massive acceleration of the protocol's deflationary engine, and it was fueled directly by the stress of the test. Here's the bottom line number. Over 818,000 tokens were permanently wiped from existence during this period of high stress. That is supply that can never create sell pressure, ever. And this chart just shows you how consistent that destruction was. You can just see the protocol ticking off these milestones one after another. Going from 3% to 15% in a little over a month is incredible. It means it was burning about 1% of the entire supply every 4 days or so. The pressure was literally the fuel for the fire. Okay, so let's move on to the second pillar, because this is where the human element comes in, staker conviction. How did the actual people, the token holders, react to all this stress? Did they panic and sell, or did they see a massive opportunity? Well, the data is just crystal clear on this one. At the beginning of the test, we were sitting at about 1.24 million tokens staked. By the end, that number had exploded to 2.33 million. Think about that. People didn't just hold on for dear life. They actively went out, got more tokens, and staked them, an extra 1.09 million tokens, right in the middle of the storm. That's an average of over 32,000 new tokens being staked every single day. Yeah, that's an 88% increase in the total tokens committed to the long-term vision of this protocol. It shows that as the pressure got more intense, the core group of believers didn't just hold the line. Their ranks actually grew, and they grew in a huge way. And all that staking has a direct, powerful effect on T-squared shares, the mechanism that exponentially rewards the people who stake longer. The supply of those shares grew by over 6 billion, a 78% jump, which proves that the protocol was doing exactly what it was designed to do, rewarding its most convicted long-term holders right when it mattered most. So we've got burns accelerating and we've got conviction growing. Now for our third pillar, which shows how those two forces came together to create something incredible, a fundamental, structural shift in the protocol's supply. And this might be the most important outcome of the entire 34-day test. Just look at this transformation. On day 84, the supply was basically split down the middle. 50% was liquid, meaning it was out there and could potentially be sold. The other 50% was protected, staked, burned in LPs, you get it. Now fast forward to day 118, that balance is completely gone. The protected supply now makes up a massive supermajority of 73%, while the liquid, sellable supply got squeezed down to just 27%. That's a 23-point swing. It's a whole new ballgame. And it wasn't just the token's own structure that got stronger. The protocol's ownership share of the entire underlying DeFi ecosystem grew by more than 5 percentage points. So what does that really mean? It means the protocol is now capturing a bigger slice of all trading fees, making its engine for generating real yield that much more powerful and sustainable. So here it is, the complete scorecard. And the result is, it's undeniable. You can look all you want, you won't find a single red mark on this page. Every single metric from top to bottom is green. 9 out of 9 metrics didn't just hold, they improved. Okay, now let's talk about the main events. The 2 moments of peak stress that were specifically designed to push this protocol to its absolute breaking point. On day 94, a massive 733,000 tokens were released. And the price, it barely even flinched. A tiny 1.5% drop, and then staking surged right after. So, passed. Then came day 114, another huge release, 477,000 tokens. And this time, something truly incredible happened. People started adding tokens, over 90,000 of them, while the sell pressure was happening. The protocol passed both tests, no question about it. And through all of this, the constant pressure, the huge single-day events, the crazy market volatility, the number of times a core mechanism of the protocol failed was exactly this, 0. The defense systems, the yield engine, the burn and stake contracts, all of it worked flawlessly. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? We can finally bring it all together and deliver the final verdict. That initial claim of anti-fragility was put to the test, and the data has given us a very, very clear answer. We can literally check off every single part of the thesis. Did burns accelerate under pressure? Check. Yes, they did. Did staking increase during the tests? Check. Believers double down. Did the defense mechanisms work? Check. Perfectly. And did the supply structure fundamentally strengthen? Big check. A permanent 23-point shift. Day 118 really marks the moment that this protocol's design was officially validated by extreme real-world stress. It's the day PLAZM went from being an exciting experiment with a really compelling theory to a proven protocol with 34 days of cold, hard data to back it all up. And really, it all comes down to this. 34 days, 818,000 burned, 1,090,000 staked, 23 points of supply structure shift, 2 major tests passed, 0 failures. The anti-fragile thesis wasn't just theory, it was a prediction. Day 118 proves the prediction was correct. This protocol gets stronger under stress. That's not marketing, that's data. Thanks for taking this deep dive into the data with us. And as one final reminder, all of this has been for educational purposes. It's not financial advice. Please always do your own research before making any kind of financial decision.